later on accept Islam and become one of the beautiful spokespeople of Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ never gave up hope in him. But Suhail is in the Battle of Badr, and Suhail, when he was an adversary to Islam, he was sly, he was an eloquent adversary, he was someone that used to really, really be able to harm the Muslims, especially with their allies. So they found him amongst the prisoners of war. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw him, and Umar radiallahu anhu was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to have fun with this one. Okay, Umar radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, let me pull his teeth out. Let me get him, because what he has done to us is more than what other people have done to us. You know what the Prophet ﷺ responded? It's beautiful. He said, I will not mutilate him, lest Allah mutilate me even if I'm a prophet. I will not mutilate him, lest Allah mutilate me even though I'm a prophet. Meaning what? Even if I torture him, and if I mutilate him, Allah will do the same to me, even if I'm the Nabi, even if I'm the Prophet. So he's teaching Umar a lesson that I'm not even going to afford myself that. So you cannot afford yourself that as well. This is before any international conventions or charters on torture, on how you treat enemy combatants, or any of the Geneva Convention. All of that stuff comes later on. Over 1,000 years later, the Prophet ﷺ says, I'm not going to torture him. He prohibited torturing any of the prisoners of war, even Suhail ibn Amr, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who became Muslim later on and who died a Muslim. We also find an incident where Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, one of his children, whose name was Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, the son of Umar. And Umar had 3 Abdurrahmans. He had Abdurrahman al-Kabir, Abdurrahman al-Saghir, Abdurrahman al-Wasat. He had the big Abdurrahman, the middle Abdurrahman, the little one, literally, because he heard the Prophet ﷺ say, Ahabul asma'i ilallah, Abdullah wa Abdurrahman, or Abdurrahman wa Abdullah. That the most beloved of names to Allah are Abdurrahman, the servant of the most merciful, and Abdullah, the servant of Allah. So he named Abdullah bin Umar, and then he had 3 Abdurrahmans. So this Abdurrahman was caught drunk. He was in Egypt at the time. Umar was in Medina. And Abdurrahman ibn Umar was drunk. And there's some things that he may have done while he was drunk. The point is, he was heavily intoxicated. He was caught in that state. And Amr ibn al-As, who was the governor of Egypt, Amr ibn al-As radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he wanted to spare Abdurrahman any punishment, because he didn't want to, because he saw him as he's the son of the Khalifa. It's embarrassing. We can't punish him. So he symbolically punished him in the privacy of his own home. So instead of lashing him, he just kind of tapped him a little bit, and admonished him. But he didn't do it in public, and he tried to maintain Abdurrahman's sanctity. And this came back to Umar. And Amr, who was the governor of Egypt, thought this would be a favor to Umar. Like, I took care of your son.